What's up, everyone? This is From the River to DVC. We're going to be talking about Islamophobia from 2001 until what it is now.
What we're gonna do is kind of go over the pyramid of haterade and how how it's gone from the bottom level to where it is now, which being genocide. So, starting off with, obviously, we start off stereotyping, right? A lot of people always had this bias that they had this ideology that a lot of Muslim people are just really radical people, and I don't know if you guys have heard anything about that. Hearing about Muslim people getting treated badly. Like, have you guys heard anything?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll go over to one step higher, where the more meat of it is, where it's belittling jokes. Growing up, had to deal with a lot of people saying horrible things just because I was Muslim, and not understanding that where they all stem from. And then we go up even more. You look at systemic discrimination. You don't see a lot of Muslim people in power. You're starting to see it a little more now, but you don't see a lot of them in power. They don't get voted because, you know, again, it stems back to the idea that a Muslim person has very radical views. And then we go even more bias motivated violence, where I would say that's where a lot of the earliest signs of a genocide starts. Just because when it comes to like seeing that, I've seen it happen. I've obviously seen my grandparents told me stories of them getting threatened after 9/11. People throwing things at their cars, people you know just treating them horribly because they were Muslim and because my grandma wore a head covering. So
Did they like when they would call you names? Like, would they call you like a terrorist? Was that common? Like, what people would call you?
yeah, that was common. A lot of it had to do with just not understanding why we wear the clothes we wear. When it comes down to it, a lot of it was just ignorance. People didn't want to learn. People just saw what they saw in Hollywood and would use that as their you know as their per se, like what they thought of what Muslim people were.
Yeah, so I feel like it's just like anything that they saw or anything that they saw like on in the media, like whether it be like social media, newspaper, or whatever. If there was one bad story, it's gonna affect everybody. Exactly. It's gonna affect everybody in that community, especially those Muslim people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like even just that your family was wearing hijabs, even just that sole fact that it's part of your guys' religion, even just wearing those out in public, it wasn't safe anymore.
Oh, it wasn't seen as accepted. You don't see people wearing head coverings out here. So it was just seen as something so different that it must have had a different meaning behind it.
Okay.
And obviously, then we go past bias motivated violence. We go to genocide, which, I mean, we're seeing it happen in Palestine right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the start of it was 9/11. It just was a domino that just kept going until it got to the point it is now, where people are essentially, ignorant people are supporting a genocide. They're paying money, and all of their funding is going to a genocide. And so, that being said, it starts off somewhere, and one act can turn into almost 50,000 people, mainly women and children, getting killed. So let's move on to the questions.
Yeah.
Some
All
good
right.
questions.
So the first question we have is, who are the Palestinian citizens of Israel and what rights do they have?
You guys want to start it off?
To be honest, I don't have as much knowledge as like maybe you would have.
Well, I mean, we'll start off with a lot of citizens of Palestine are natives. They're indigenous, and when it comes to Israel, a lot of them, yeah, there was a small population living there, but a lot of Jewish people lived all across Europe, all across Asia. There was a huge population, and so after the Holocaust happened, Palestinian people opened their arms and said, "Come, come to us." And the problem that we see now is that it's Jerusalem itself is a very holy city to three different religions. So people fighting over Jerusalem has basically been going on for a long, long time. And now we're seeing, almost by force, Israeli people kind of trying to force Palestinian people away from a landmark for them, for their religion.
And oh, go ahead.
Like, realistically, do you even think they have like rights right now? Because didn't they cut off their basic needs like water, food? So realistically, like, do you even think right now there's even laws?
I mean, they're being treated so poorly. It's borderline like not even humanitarian.
Yeah.
Right? It's gotten to the point where, like, I don't know if you guys heard about what happened in Rafah, but basically what they did was the Israeli government told Palestinian people, "Hey, we're gonna move you out of this area because we're gonna bomb it," and they said, "We're gonna put you in this city, but we promise we won't bomb you." And now they're bombing that city that they moved them all to.
Yeah,
It's kind of like giving them that like safety and that comfort, and then just stripping it away again completely.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's the case with like what he had just said. Is just like they're stripping all civil liberties. Like there's nothing at all that they're going to be going home to, if they even have a home to go to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sad because a lot of these people, there's kids growing up without parents, and there's parents growing up, getting older without their kids.
Yeah.
So it just goes both ways when you look at it. Like, I understand that October 7th was just a reaction. It was a reaction because it was, imagine for like 70 plus years, right? You're fighting, you're getting attacked by these people, and then you have one little reaction to it, and now all of a sudden people are trying to justify killing 50,000 people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we haven't done that. The United States hasn't done that, anything like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Israel can have a reaction in support of like defending their country and defending, or sorry, not Israel, but Palestine. Palestine is protecting Gaza for like what they believe in. When the United States does it, no one messes with us. But again, it comes back to that power dynamic and then that big gap in between all of that.
Yeah, shows how much of a superpower we are.
Mm-hmm. But as I was going to ask you, in Jerusalem, what are the three main religions? I know it's Jewish, Muslim, and then Christianity.
Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Christian people do believe that what Jesus is the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too. I'm kind of like I got my ideas, but I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is that how it is with Christianity?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jesus is the Son of God, and you have the Holy Trinity, of course. And that's their beliefs, right? And obviously, Jesus came from Jerusalem, and we believe in Jesus as well. But we believe that he was a prophet and a messenger instead of the Son of God. We don't believe that God has any children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Jewish people, they see Jesus as God.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, that's what it goes back to, right? Is that it's such an important city for everyone because of the three biggest religions believe that Jesus was a huge part of their.
And I feel like that's what a couple people try to do. Like they try to use religion to justify their acts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it comes down to like, oh well, like Jesus wouldn't have wanted that, or this isn't how it's written in the Bible, or whatever it may be. They try to justify it by using religion, and then I feel like that kind of just demeans the whole point of religion.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Good. So, next question we have is, what do we think about the U.S. stepping in and its national funding, like of basically funding this genocide?
It's been a long time that the U.S. has funded genocides. You look at Iraq, you look at all these other places that have had multiple people killed. Ukraine. You look at even. I mean, I'm from Afghanistan. They went in with the name of defense, but who was really being defended if our people were still being killed, right? Mm-hmm. So it's at the end of the day, it shows where our tax dollars are going. We imagine we work our butts off. I mean, we all have jobs, right? Yeah. We all work our butts off, pay taxes, and where does it all end up going? Into a war that we can't even do anything. It just says a lot about who we have elected. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's the most common thing you see in the Senate, right? Old
Yeah.
white guys.
I feel like that's what a lot of people be like. A lot of people complain about like, oh, like I got like this much money taken off of my taxes, or I got this much, or oh man, like this all coming out of my taxes, my check is so small, whatever. And then I feel like we always complain like, okay, like yeah, but where is all this money going to? Are we really looking at where it's going to? Like where are our tax dollars being allocated? And I mean, if it's just to support a genocide, I mean, I feel like there should be, I don't know, I think that there should be like some sort of like law or something that allows us to choose where our tax dollars can be allocated. Maybe it'll create an imbalance in the system, but I feel like honestly, like you're saying, like it just shows who we're electing and what their priorities and what their perspectives are.
So when it comes to longevity, how long do you guys think this war is going to go on?
Well, I mean, really, it just depends on like how much longer Israel wants to keep pushing. Um, as we see, Hamas already tried resistance. Palestine tried resistance as well, and it's not working out. Hamas, they've retreated. They've offered to ceasefire, but does Israel really want that?
The real question is, I mean, what are we looking for? What are we looking for? Because they wanted a ceasefire. These Palestinians wanted a ceasefire. Hamas wanted a ceasefire, and they're not getting that. And when it comes to like, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, are we going to see all Palestinians murdered? Are we going to see are we going to see a bunch of kids like dying for a cause that's not their fault? I mean, what I thought would have been a solution is coming to a ceasefire, right? But we're not even getting that no more. So what are we looking for? What are we looking for? Are we looking for peace? Are we looking for everyone to be eliminated? What does Israel want? Because Netanyahu reiterated multiple times, we're not stopping anytime soon. So what would be the deciding factor for them to stop killing innocent people?
Kind of like you mentioned, it goes the way you first said. They're gonna literally try to kill all of them because, like I said, they mentioned that the war is not gonna stop until someone wins.
Yeah.
So that kind of just goes in a way of like literally killing all of them, killing like elderly. You're killing kids. You're killing women, pregnant women. It's not right at all.
Yeah, it's the extinction of a part of the human race.
Yeah, and we're watching it happen right in front of our eyes, and there's still people that think that Palestinians are in the wrong, and it just goes back to that Islamophobia, right? Just it all connects back to how 2001 is still in so many people's minds that they think that these people are radical human beings and they don't deserve to be alive. But it's like, have you ever thought of actually doing your research on them?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if you give someone the statistical evidence, like what the death tolls over what, how much?
It's like 50,000.
50,000 and 14,000 of those being children. If you give someone that statistical evidence at this point, like where we're at now, a lot of people are just going to throw it to the side.
They don't care anymore.
Nobody cares.
It's. I'm telling you, it all stems back to how people view Muslims, and unfortunately, as a Muslim myself, I've seen it firsthand. Right, I can literally go through the pyramid of haterade and basically say I've seen almost every form of hate in person, let alone like not even saying like on TV. I've experienced that. So when it comes down to it, right? What if a citizen of America, have experienced it? Think of what they're going through. Think of leaving your country. Like, let's say a Palestinian man leaves and goes to another country, and people find out he's Palestinian.
It's over.
He's basically going to get killed off in another country. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think it's good. From the river to DVC, this is our podcast. And thank you.